Hello and welcome folks, Wizuko here! And I love the Animal Crossing series. I loved every game. And yes, I even like Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival. By far not as much as the main series, but I still think it was fun. I could appreciate that they at least tried to keep the franchise relevant, so for what it is, I don't think it was that bad. With that said, I think I made my love for the franchise very clear. Yet, I still miss features in the newest Animal Crossing. Some of which are next to impossible, I know, but I can dream, right? In the mobile game, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp was a new feature introduced that first struck me a little, for unlikely it was for a usual Animal Crossing game. Yet, I really came to like them. Episodes. If you get the right campers to visit your campsite and craft the right furniture, you could get rewarded with an so-called episode. Episodes were little dialogues where a couple of villagers would come together, plan something out, or tell a little story about them or their everyday life. At first, I thought it was strange, since I felt like that was a too big and too sudden of a change. But looking back at it and giving it a second thought, I think this feature could actually work pretty damn good in an Animal Crossing main game. Imagine to stumble into a heart-to-heart speech between your villagers. And no, I don't think we have something like that already. Sometimes your neighbors would be talking to each other even without you, but that's not all an episode is. It has something more cinematic to it, with animations and the villagers actually doing something that is unique to that one villager. And that's what I feel like is the most intriguing part about it. I often feel like all villagers of the same personality type are the exact same person, which was pretty much always the case. I don't want to pretend like that was any news. And to the game's defense, there are almost 400 different villagers after all, so that giving all of them an individual personality is next to impossible. However, I didn't feel that way with the older Animal Crossing games, making me believe that the fewer dialogues in New Horizons create this false impression of every friendly villager to be exactly the same. And so I think if you had some sort of heart event for every villager, when you two would grow closer, for example, I think that would give every villager more uniqueness and personality. And ultimately, I think that could be something that turns people's opinions on some villagers around. I mean, take Rudy here for an example. I hate his guts. Look at his smirky face, you annoying piece of... What I'm trying to say is, he is awful. But if he had a heart event that I could share with him after some time I have spent with his ugly face, that could redeem him. Heart events can change so much about how characters are seen. Take Stardew Valley, for example. Heart events are the best thing to get to know any of the townsfolk. And they made them feel distinct and individual, don't you think? From a technical standpoint that I have not too much of a clue about, I also think that it would be manageable for a game to handle one heart event per villager, even if that heart event would be individual to that one villager, to make everyone stand out in a way. The thing is that in earlier games, we actually already had a variant of what I'm talking about. In Animal Crossing New Leaf, for example, you could get this dialogue. And from scenes like this, we know a lot about the relationships between Sable and Tom, Timmy and Tommy, and so on. I thought scenes like this make the characters more empathetic and much more appealing, and gave the game some sort of lore and depth. And you know, I can't help but wonder that a game that has brought us so many cute and lovable characters wouldn't monopolize on that and evolve the characters more. I, for one, would be up for an Animal Crossing game that evolved a little more story. After all, it didn't have to be philosophical, political, or anything like that. I could imagine a Stardew Valley sort of approach to the whole idea. Everyday challenges, a heart-to-heart on a bench, or maybe just a picnic together. Another feature that just as well will most likely never be actually in Animal Crossing New Horizons, but had made it in New Leaf, were multiplayer minigames. Back in New Leaf, you could catch a boat to the Tortimer Islands, each with different minigames for single or multiplayer. And I think they were awesome. You could just invite friends over and play all those minigames without the expense of any space on your actual town. Because sure, most of the minigames from New Leaf could be remade in New Horizons, but only if you're willing to sacrifice a part of your own island for that. And on top of that, New Leaf had another great plus as well. When playing these minigames, you could collect medals that in return you could trade for cool exclusive furniture or swimsuits. And the collector in every Animal Crossing player will need those in their life. And I know, it is exactly due to the lack of mentioned minigames. A lot of New Horizons players got extremely creative and invented their own minigames. Those are amazing, and I love the community for exactly that creativity. I love watching videos from other creators about their self-made obstacle course or net fights. Yeah, the net fights. What I was trying to say is, maybe we would not have that if we were spoon-fed with minigames provided by the game for us. Which is why I'm not sad that Nintendo will most likely never add minigames to New Horizons. But I still like to imagine the possibilities. And for me, I admit it's so hard to give up on my island plan for a playfield. Did that ever happen to you? You just woke up on your town, strolling around, doing your dailies, and then you see it. The thinking bubble. The all-holy thinking bubble. It could mean literally anything. So you talk to them. And... Okay, no problem dear, I can deliver that. But where are they? You go all around the island. Nowhere to be found. Another trip. This time going into the houses. Still can't find them. Where are they? Did that ever happen to you? In New Leaf, there was a solution to that problem. Behold! The microphone! With a cool and shiny microphone, you can just call your missing neighbor's name and they will come right at you. Not just some animation. Nope. Really useful, actually. But there's a catch. You see, the Nintendo DS had an built-in microphone. So when I said you'd call out their names, I meant you'd just call out their names. The Switch, however, doesn't have a built-in microphone. Or does it? Does it? The government is white. Well, officially it doesn't, which means I have no idea how you should use this mic, apart of maybe a menu that could open up and then you choose the villager you wanna call? I don't know. I just really miss the mic. All the villagers would always, and I mean always, hide from me. And whenever I look for one in particular, I can't find them. Only when they need me. They are there. It's so sad. But you know what could help to ease that sadness? Public meeting hub for Animal Crossing players. Now picture this absolutely impossible idea of a feature. When you go to your bed, you can not only dream anymore, you can enter the hub. A meeting place for players, and maybe even the one place you could also play minigames at. But mainly it's for meeting other players and trading and exchanging designs, furniture, and most importantly, DIYs. Because, you know, after a while, I get a bit tired of the DIYs. I can't store them anywhere, so they lie around everywhere. And some recipes are actually really good, but I just already know them. But I don't want to sell them for like 130 bucks. But in the hub, there could be a place where you could trade or sell your DIYs to other people that could actually benefit from that. Like, remember the auction house from City Folk? We could have an auction house like that in the hub as well, but this time online. Wait, you know what? Now that I think about it, I actually described the Animal Crossing Pocket Camp Bazaar, didn't I? Anyway, I imagine it to look and work a lot like the Festival Plaza from Pokemon Sun and Moon games. However, I have next to no idea if that technically is even possible or marketable. With online features, risks and controls go hand in hand, and I have no clue if this whole hub idea could ever be a thing. We're also being safe and not being abused. But I'm not here to solve that. I just daydream, and I'm not quite finished yet, because the last feature that I wanted to talk about are interactive furniture. Now again, that is a tricky one, technically speaking. Interaction means there needs to be an animation connecting you and your regular gameplay with the object itself and the activity connected to it. Besides that, every animation beholds a certain risk of glitching. So again, technically, I'm aware of at least some possible problems when it comes to the feature, but then again, I don't care about how realistic they are. We are talking dreams here, and my dreams are more interactable furniture in Animal Crossing. I'd love if there was the option to actually lift some weight or washing hands. There would be no point to it, and with some furniture, it might actually look very weird. But all in all, I think it would make furniture more diverse and give them a new spin. And you know the Animal Crossing community. Imagine what these crazy people could come up with when objects could be more interactable. Imagine the screenshots and photos people would get perfectly timed to use an animation you'd do for this furniture, only to abuse it to look funny. Abuse aside, though, I also think it would be super fun to stalk your neighbors using the sport devices only to get the proof I need that all those jocks, yeah, they're posers. No way they train all that much. Just you wait. They won't touch the sport devices, I tell you. I kind of feel like I'm ending on a weird note here, so let me wrap things up. Animal Crossing New Horizons is great, and we all know there are a lot of features that we all miss. And some will most likely never be added, like episodes that tell us individual stories about our beloved friends. Minigames that would provide new ways to come together in multiplayer. A microphone like we knew from New Leaf would be pretty handy. An online public hub for Animal Crossing players to meet, share and trade would be insane. Impossible, but such a cool thing. And lastly, more interactable furniture would add a lot to the game, even though it will most likely never be added. But what about you? What do you think? Would you like any of these features, or are you glad these are not in the newest Animal Crossing? Let me know in the comments down below. Next video is gonna be up next Wednesday, and until then, have it good. Bye!